Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Please Listen podcast. I'm your host, John Follett, and today's episode is going to cover a wide breadth of topics. So stay tuned if you want to hear me talk about the Avengers Doomsday official trailer, a certain show facing AI art allegations, and a movie that I'm kind of late on seeing that everybody else has seen that was super popular, but I just now saw it, and I'm going to talk about and share my thoughts today, if I have time. Speaking of movies that I'm going to be late on, there was a big, huge summer blockbuster movie that just came out a few days ago, starring every actor on planet Earth, and even a few rappers. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. That movie just came out a few days ago, and I haven't seen it. The movie tickets, they came out a year before the movie came out, if I remember correctly. I wasn't able to secure a ticket. I didn't have it. They needed to give me more time to secure a ticket. I couldn't get my plans in order a year in advance, you know. Yeah, so I wasn't able to talk about that, so I guess I'll talk about it.
Did somebody say The Odyssey?
Oh, hey. Hey, Kermit, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, wow, I'm so happy to see you right now.
I heard you were talking about the Odyssey movie.
Yeah, I was talking about how I wasn't able to see
I'm actually a big fan of Christopher Nolan. I liked the Dark Knight trilogy, and Inception is one of my favorite movies. He's a real great director guy.
Cool.
You know, I actually worked with him once. I was going to be in Interstellar, but they decided to cut me out.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
You know, I actually made a new YouTube video about the Odyssey. I was wondering if I could show it on your podcast.
Like right now?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right now.
I guess a little bit of backstory. I had a legal case with the Muppets a few years back, and as part of the settlements for the case, I'm obligated to let Kermit promote his gaming Let's Play channel on my show just whenever he wants. So I guess that's what he wants to do right now. So I go ahead. The floor is yours, Kermit. You can take the lead here.
Hey everybody, this is Kermit the Frog. Make sure to check out my new YouTube video. Here's a special preview.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Kermit Gaming. Today we're going to be playing Roblox. This is the Odyssey, the official Odyssey game, based on Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey movie. It's rated R, the movie, and this is also age 18 and up. Kind of doesn't fit in with the demographic that I usually work with, but ask your parents to see the movie. I was told that this game is very important to the story of the movie, so if you don't play this, you're going to be missing a big chunk of lore. The Odyssey. That's the name of the movie. Looks like I found an apple. Oh, wow. E to pick up. Can anyone tell me what word starts with the letter E? This is a really great game. Having a real great time here. Pieces of our boat's breaking off. That's cool. That's fine. It's just some rocky waters. Nothing more. Okay, my teammates. Okay, I honestly didn't need them anyways. Let's just get through this. I'm almost there. Okay, now it's whirlpools and. Oh. Okay, that did not go the way I had hoped. I guess let's just watch the clip one more time. It's a nice clip. The Odyssey. Wow. I'm sure the movie's going to be great. I'm glad I played this just so I have the extra bit of lore. That's it for this episode of Kermit Gaming. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all on Roblox. Bye.
That looks like a great video, Kermit. Thank you for. Let's give Kermit a round of applause. We'll all be sure to check out that video. I'll put the link in the description for you, buddy. Thank you. Anyways, yeah. So long story short, I haven't seen the Odyssey yet, so I'm not going to talk about that. Instead of watching the Odyssey, I decided to dabble in something possibly bigger than a silly little Christopher Nolan flick. Okay, something that's a global sensation. Hundreds of countries, billions of TVs around the world tuned in. Billions of fans in, not billions, but like probably thousands of fans in stadiums and arenas. That's 4 years in the making. That is the FIFA 2026 World Cup. Football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. I watched my first ever, actually, time watching the World Cup. I watched a few games. I didn't watch every game all the way through. And yeah, this is an area of expertise that I have little to no knowledge of. That being any sort of sport. Sports not my forte. The reason I watched this World Cup, the main contributing influence to me wanting to watch this World Cup was someone that you may have seen on the show before, my beautiful, lovely girlfriend, Katherine. And I thought it was only fair. I forced her to watch a Star Wars movie, a very mid Star Wars movie. I'll put a card up there. And so I thought it was only fair that I would agree to watch the World Cup. And I'm glad I did, because I actually had a good time watching the games that I watched. This World Cup has been going on for the past month or maybe 2 months. And the final game happened this past Sunday. And I watched it all the way through. They scored 1 point after an hour or 130 minutes. So I'm glad that was the one that I sat through the whole time. I'm kind of not scared. I am kind of scared to talk about sports, because I know that people, they are ride and die for this shit, or ride or die for this shit, because they will kill you. They'll break stuff. People going crazy. The whole cities imploding when their team loses. I've seen a lot of videos like that over the past couple of weeks of mass panic and mass, major upsets shaking a whole town and people getting ambushed. You see like videos of like a crowd of people all with one the same color jersey, and then like one spot of the opposite team color jersey being stuck in the middle. Like, what do I do? They're gonna rip me apart. Stuff like that. And yeah, just from what I know, people, they get real serious about these sports games. These all people are getting all serious about this sports ball thing. It's a big thing. I don't know why, but especially with the World Cup, because this is like how people they kind of equate the performance, because it's like each of the teams, they represent like a country. It's not like the rest of the season where they're playing for individual teams. It's like everyone from that country is on. I actually didn't know this. Everyone from that country, no matter what team they're in, they have to be in the same team. So you got people who play on the same team normally, but they're from different countries, so they could possibly play against each other in a game. Getting into arguments, that's like an extra layer on top of the passion that people have for sports, because now you got people's love for their country wrapped up into that too. So I'm kind of scared to share my thoughts as someone who doesn't know anything, and I couldn't care less if the United States won. So I mean, I would have been like, cool, we did it, guys. I can't name a single American football player. I was thinking about this in comparison to watching a Star Wars movie without having seen any of the other ones, because I was like, I wonder if there's any World Cup or FIFA like lore. Maybe there's like certain teams have any kind of reputations, or if there's like players have beef, or there's like I think Ronaldo he's retiring, and so this was like his last ever World Cup. I think that's true. And with this final game, Argentina versus Spain, there was somehow there was this old picture of Messi, the star player for Argentina, and Lamine Yamal, who's the star player for Spain, or the only one that I know from Spain. This picture of Lamine Yamal as a baby, getting bathed by Messi. It's the craziest thing when I found out that this was a real photo that was taken, and now they're facing each other in the World Cup. So it's like this weird, like 19 years in the making, like prophecy that Lamine Yamal, the little baby in the little bathtub, would grow up and beat the Argentinian Lionel Messi, the guy who has, I don't know, I think they have multiple World Cups. And so there was like some Star Wars, like the Chosen One type lore going on with this game. So that kind of piqued my interest a little bit. To explain more lore, I decided to ask my beautiful girlfriend who knows infinitely more about this and has her own opinions that she is comfortable sharing to the world. So I'm just going to insert a little clip here of her thoughts overall of all the stuff with this World Cup. So I'll throw it to you, Katherine. Ronaldo or Messi? And why? Yeah, that's my first question.
Everybody was waiting for the World Cup because this is their last World Cup. Everybody was rooting for Messi because he already won one. And then Ronaldo, he wanted to win this one because he's won like almost everything but the World Cup. The World Cup is not everything for a football player. Cristiano Ronaldo right now, he has 976 goals till now. I did my research.
So Ronaldo's better.
Ronaldo's better, of course.
Also, what kind of name is Lionel? How did you feel about the final game, Argentina-Spain?
It was Argentina trying to bring down Spain, but no because of the game, but like physically. Pushing, they were going to their feet. They were being so like physical.
I saw there was also a lot of flopping around, a lot of players falling over. And
there's a rule in FIFA now that if you cover your mouth, you get a card, like a yellow card, red card, because players have been using that to say like mean stuff like racist comments. Cucurella, which is a Spanish guy, he has like curly hair. He was talking to Messi and he did this for a second. He like touched his sleeve for a second. I was explaining something to Messi. And then the moment that he did this, Messi was like, this is my shot. Referee, where you at?
Yeah.
Where you at? And then he started like saying like, he covered his mouth. Right when Spain won, they got into a fight.
Yeah.
Physical fight. And you know, the guy fighting, the Argentinian, they were fighting the kids. There's this guy named Gavi. That guy's like 19, 20. He was grabbing it from like their shirt. They were pissed because you know they didn't follow the script. So
they didn't follow. Do you think it's rigged? Do you think it's scripted?
Infantino is the president of the FIFA. Infantino. He's a Messi fan. Infantino, he said it so many times. Like Messi is like best player of all time. Messi this, Messi that. Messi is the favorite. And so when Spain scored, you can see like the other guys go, and Infantino is like disappointed of like the result. So, and he's the president. So I hope that doesn't matter. But when it comes to the referee, there's a lot of videos. And the game Argentina against Egypt, oh my God, that was like, if you ask anyone, that was so rigged and like against Egypt.
Couple other questions here. I have to share my screen for this. Which of these Lego sets are you most likely to buy?
I mean, I'm really a fan of Cristiano, but Mbappe, he was the top scorer of the World Cup.
Final question. Explain this image.
Mbappe, he was 18 when he won his World Cup, but now that this guy, like Lamine, he won a World Cup, now they're like, well, now he has a World Cup. So they compare that a lot. And because that picture, no, nothing, because, you know, Mbappe, so the World Cup, this time was 48 countries. We had like 148 games, 48 countries, and they want to do for the next one 64. If they do the 64 countries, we're gonna say like maybe Nicaragua, maybe
California.
Nicaragua. This year the World Cup was like in 3 countries. It was Mexico, Canada, and the States. For the players, it's like, you know, we're going to like this destination. In the States, they stayed in
Motel 6.
Alabama. They were staying like this like random places. There's a picture of Lamine Yamal in a Walmart. The last World Cup, It was at Qatar. It was like this fancy country.
Wow.
So everything was like super fancy. And then the inauguration like ceremony and everything was really cool. This year's were like maybe next World Cup.
Are you gonna watch next World Cup
All the World Cups.
forever?
Forever.
Nice.
Forever. Are you?
Yeah, now I am. Forever. Thanks, Catherine. Her team was she was rooting for England. I asked if I could say that, and she let me say that, which is good. And so her team was England. So of course my team was England. And I also saw a clip. Tom Holland's team was England, and Zendaya was like, I root for whatever team he roots for. So they were both going for England, and I felt like Zendaya in that moment because that's really not my world or my area of expertise. So I was like, whatever you say, honey. I mean, it was probably hard for Tom Holland to see England get eliminated by Argentina, especially considering that he had to do that commercial with Messi. It must have been a real conflict of interest for him. I can imagine Tom Holland reading the script to that commercial and being like, okay, then Peter Parker says, I love you, Messi, so much. You're the greatest ever. You're the best football player of all time. I love you, Messi. Okay, great. I have to say that on the day. Can we cut out the part where I ask for a lock of his hair? I think that's just a bit too much. That's not normal fan behavior. But yeah, I feel bad for him. And yeah, so I watched the game. Like I said, it went on for so long. I watched, I think, out of all the games that happened, I think I watched maybe 4 or 5, like beginning to end, front to back. Other than that, I maybe caught like little bits of it now and again. I knew like who was getting eliminated. When eliminations happened, I knew who was getting eliminated and what the bracket was looking like. And this game I watched, this is like the big one. Everyone's tuning into this one. And it was not, it was so underwhelming. It was not worth tuning into that game because I don't actually understand how the clock works in this sport because they go on for 90 minutes. And then at the end of the 90 minutes, sometimes they'll add like a plus 7 minutes. If there's like, I assume that's like because of like the downtime that they're just like adding up the downtime that they take in between plays if something happens. Because that clock is always going on. And I actually like that about compared to other sports, they just keep going. Like sometimes they take like breaks to drink or they, if there's like a flag or something, they got to like talk it over and be like, decide some things like what penalties or whatever. But other than that, these guys, they just keep playing. And I'm like, that's so great. There's like barely any commercial breaks besides halftime. And I'm like, great. Because when I was a kid, I always hated how in sports, especially baseball, it seems like 90% of the game is just them taking breaks. And like 10% is actually playing the game. And there's just so much waiting involved just to see like the shortest play happen. But with this, it's all like actions is always going on. And they have to, I feel bad for the player. They have to run down that field for 45 minutes straight. That's got to be, I couldn't do that. And it's impressive seeing, because these are these players that are playing, they're like the best of the best. They're the best in the sport, So it's very impressive seeing these people do be the best in their field and see them play against each other. Although in this last game, doesn't seem like anybody was really doing anything. They were just kind of fucking around the whole time. But yeah, the timer goes up to 90 minutes of this game. And then at the end, I think they add like 4 minutes. But then they go past that. I'm like, they don't do a thing where it's like, once the timer ends, they stop. Like if it says +4, they went to like 7 minutes, and you're just like, oh yeah, we just go to 7 minutes. Like, what's the point of the 4 then? I thought there would be like some kind of like hockey, like a buzzer, where it's like, or like basketball, where it's like, when time's done, you stop. Then they did that, and then they were like, let's go to 105 minutes instead. Then they went, and the 90-minute timer went up to 105, and then they were like, still no points. They were like, let's add like 3 more minutes. Of course, they went past 3 minutes, and then they were like, let's go to 120 minutes. So the 105 went up to 120. Still no goals yet, I don't think. I don't remember. Or maybe there was a goal. No, there wasn't a goal yet. After 120, they're like, let's add 5 more. So they just kept adding time. And I think that's when the goal happened. Or maybe it was when it went from 105 to 120. I don't remember. Then the goal happened. And then that was when, after the 5 minutes was done, they were like, game is finished. Guys, go home. And that was finally someone, 1 point after over 2 hours of a match. And yeah, I didn't know that there was gonna be like a kind of like the Super Bowl. There was a big show, like music performance during halftime, and it had a lot of music. All the stars were at this game. It's a big event, of course. All the stars were there. Tom Cruise he had a microphone and he was giving a speech before the game. He was like, guys, let's all celebrate togetherness and unity. And also make sure to watch my new movie coming out. It was kind of like cross promotion for his movie that I talked about that has the weird trailer. Because I also saw like a little social media video of his character from that movie kicking around like a CGI soccer ball and being like, check out the World Cup and also my movie. I don't know. I thought the guy did his own stunts. Why couldn't he learn to actually kick a soccer ball like that? But Tom Cruise was there. Matt Damon was there. What are you doing, man? Your movie just came out. You're just chilling at the World Cup. Reality host Donald Trump was there in the crowd. I saw. That's all I know him from. I don't know him as anything else. I don't know what else has he done. Trump. I don't know. He's real lucky that this game was in New York and not any other country, because he probably would have been jumped. If he was anywhere near a stadium that wasn't in the United States. And then during the musical performance, BTS was there. Ted Lasso showed up, the character from that show. Justin Bieber, I like the song that he sang in that one. I thought it was good. Shakira. The Muppets were there. The Muppets, and I think there was some other... I think Chris Martin was there, but the Muppets showed up, and I was like, oh my god, the Muppets. I wonder where Kermit is right now. I should have asked him about his time at the World Cup, because it seems like it would have been a fun thing to talk about, but I don't know where he is. Even though I'm not, super knowledgeable about football or sports in general, I liked watching the show and the game. I like being able to understand when people reference, joke about players or teams or things about the World Cup. I like being able to understand that. So I'll see you guys in 4 years when the next one happens, and then another photo resurfaces of Messi giving a bath to another up-and-coming player, and then the prophecy will restart, and he'll beat Messi in that one. Moving on from the World Cup, I wanted to talk about a little bit of internet controversy surrounding a certain show, because I think it's very funny, and it's a nice example of me being right, first of all, about the internet, and also that the internet is fucking annoying sometimes. Because there was a poster release for this show, this one of the most popular and longest running comedy shows. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They released a poster for their 18th season, I think. They released a poster for it, and the internet just collectively decided to throw the criticism that I complained about in the last episode, saying it looks like AI art. I would say this is even more rampant than the Avengers Doomsday AI art allegations, because there was so many people saying that in the comments, so much so that the cast and FX had to release a video of the poster being made in Blender, the 3D models getting rendered, being photoshopped into the poster. And then the internet was like, oh, I didn't say anything. I was just kidding. Me? That wasn't me. And this was exactly what I was warning about in the last episode. The overconfidence with this whole AI art criticism. What happened to just saying, this looks ugly, Because the poster is kind of it's a little glossy and it's a little creepy, honestly, the way that they make them look like, what do you beard taps, and so they model 3D renders of each of the cast, and it looks kind of weird and uncanny, Although I think it's supposed to, because if you look at it, like other It's So Always Sunny posters, they all look like kind of odd, and they're kind of meant to like reflect like the name of the show being like it's kind of like cheeky because it's all like happy-go-lucky, and then the show is not like that. But yeah, I think if you don't like the poster, just be like it's ugly. And I don't know. I was very annoyed by this. Some people have speculated that it's it was a marketing stunt to make to try and make the poster look AI generated, just to stir up the controversy so they can drop this video and be like, actually, just kidding, you're wrong. And if that's true, I do think that's kind of smart because it really helped me through this. It helped me like fully realize like why I don't like this talking point. One, because it reeks of arrogance. It's overused, and everybody's saying it. I feel like they think they're so smart to be like, I notice when this is AI art. And the whole, it's difficult because I don't disagree, of course, like AI art is bad. It's ugly most of the time. I don't want to see artists and companies use it for things. I like it when I see art that was made by somebody that had like a purpose and a reason. But I think a lot of the circles surrounding like disliking AI art seems so performative and like over the top. Just people like patting themselves on the back because they're like, I don't like AI art. I hate it so much. Like you see people like artists who make stuff and they'll have like a little label being like, this was made by humans. This art was made by humans. This is not AI generated. Like being like, good job. Which is like, sure, it's not really commendable. That's just kind of the norm. I get that it's more common for people to just be lazy and make their stuff with AI, but like you're expecting like a round of applause. I think part of the reason why people are so quickly to throw around the label of AI art is because on the internet, people are so like overly hateful and mean and vitriolic to stuff they don't like that it helps them to like it gives them a reason to be so hateful. Like, because AI art, not only is it ugly, but like using AI too much does have like bad environmental impact. You know what I mean? And it can take away jobs from artists and stuff like that. So if you label something as AI art, you're like, this thing, it's not just, I don't just dislike it. This thing is morally wrong. So I can hate on it like so viciously and not feel bad about it. Like if you like the level of hatred that like a lot of people on the internet reach, like it's not normal for something that like they just dislike, so they have to be like, this is ruining the planet. It's the same logic behind people calling like celebrities or like influencers that get popular, like calling them like industry plants, or like even worse, like you saw that with like the band Geese that got popular recently. People calling them like a psyop, because I don't know what the reasoning why they would be a psyop. And some of them are memeing, but I think like a lot of people are like, I don't believe that anybody actually listens to this band. I think that they're being, there's a big corporation behind it, paying to get this band into the eyes of the public to spread some sort of agenda or something, or like infect the minds of the public or some weird shit like that. And that is a morally wrong thing to do. So me being overly spiteful towards them and their music is justified because what they're doing is objectively wrong. And so I don't just subjectively dislike their music. I'm hating on something that is objectively wrong, because I labeled them a psyop or an industry plant, which I think is fucking weird. Like, you just say you don't like something anymore. I take the Geese one, I take very personally because I'm going to admit something here. I'm going to be very brave and I'm going to admit something here. I, John Follett, am a fan of Geese. I am a fan of the band Geese. I listen to their music. I think ever since October of last year, I've listened to their music pretty much nonstop for the past couple of months. So that's why I feel real. And Cameron Winter, the main singer of that band, I listen to his music also quite a lot. And I feel personally for that because, when people say things to the tune of, who actually listens to this music? I do. I listen to them a lot. I hear them and I'm like, I like this. So I fell for the psyop, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I know that was very hard for me to say that. I've been holding on to that for like a few months. Anyways, that's just what I thought. I just wanted to share my piece about this whole AI art kerfuffle. And there was also another one about the Alvin and the Chipmunks, the new Alvin and the Chipmunks. They reveal what, I guess they're rebooting Alvin and the Chipmunks, and they released like a new look at Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks, the main guy Alvin. That one does kind of look like AI, but I don't really care. Anyways, moving on, I wanted to talk about a movie that is not that new. I caught it on streaming. It just came out on streaming. It's a little movie called Obsession. I believe it was directed, written, and shot by this guy called Curry Baker or Barker. I don't remember. And that's notable because he used to make like sketch comedy on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. And then he was able to secure this film, like feature film directorial debut. He was also actually he was in an episode of It's Always Sunny, so that's a little through line for you there of the stuff we're talking about today. And yeah, I guess I'm just gonna give some thoughts about it. It's a quick little spoiler warning. I think I'm the last person to have not seen this movie, so spoiler warning, even though it's not necessary because everybody knows what happens in this movie. And yeah, it was a great little indie horror movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I'm not much of a horror movie guy, simply for the fact that it's difficult for a horror movie to actually scare me. Or maybe I'm just not watching good ones. But it's difficult to scare me and also make me feel suspense, because that's like a big thing in horror. You feeling suspense and, wanting to being like, what's going to happen? Is this person going to die? It's hard for me to feel that, mostly because, a lot of the times in horror movies, I don't care about the main cast at all. Like the main characters, like I don't find them like, I don't feel anything towards them really. And this film actually does a good job at making me care about the characters in this movie. I think from the first scene, it starts with the main guy, Bear, giving like this. He's practicing giving like a confession to the girl that he likes, and he's like a very. I mean, that's a good way to start your movie, to be like, here's his character, and he has these strong feelings, and he has aspirations, and he dreams of being with this girl, and he feels so strongly about her. So that gives you like a reason to root for this guy. And I also like his friend. What was his name? Ike? What was his friend's name? I forget, but he's played by this guy who would make the comedy sketches with the director. And he's very funny. Another reason why I like that first scene, and this is like a constant throughout the movie, but the fucking music in this film is gorgeous. I loved like the presentation of this movie, like that indie style of shooting where it's like a static camera for a lot of the shots. The movie does do like some cool camera movements later, but like a lot of like the dialogue scenes are like static shots that are like kind of framed interestingly, like a lot of negative space that I like. And the music is I went back, of course I went and I listened to the soundtrack after the movie came out, and there are these, just like the first scene, but there are also a lot of scenes throughout where it's like just like a slow zoom in on a character or something, and you can see them like contemplating something or like feeling something. And there's just like the most beautiful soundtrack behind it, of like this, like droning kind of like synthy. I don't know. It's kind of like, it's beautiful but also like haunting at the same time. It's just like kind of creeping in and like filling out your ears. And I was like, oh, I love like being able to just sit with the character while like great music is playing, and just I don't know. I like scenes like that where you just sit and you feel, and you can listen to the great soundtrack. I like that. But yeah, the music is great. And if you're not aware, the premise of this movie is the main guy, Bear, has a crush on this girl named Nikki. And he goes to like a store and he gets this like item called the One Wish Willow. And it's like kind of haunted. And he snaps it. He makes a wish and then he snaps it. And the wish comes true. And he wishes for the girl that he likes to love him more than anyone in the whole world. And then that wish comes true. And chaos ensues because, that love is so... It gets dangerous. She starts doing some really crazy things. But I like how, as soon as he snaps the thing and the wish, takes over, right off the bat, you're like, this is bad. This is not a good thing. Because she's acting all weird and like creepy. And it's so like uncomfortable and like unpredictable. She's acting like very erratic. I feel like in a different movie, it would start off and she'd be like, oh, I actually like you too. And then they kiss and they, go to her place and they have just like a great time. And then later he starts to realize more and more like she's acting a little bit strange. But I like how right off the bat, like, like this is a bad thing. And it helps because, that happens and he's so weirded out and freaked out by it. But, a little bit later in the movie, he just like is like, all right, she's my girlfriend now. She likes me now. And they have like a few weeks where they just act like a normal, happy couple. And even though it's like a nice, normal montage, once again with beautiful music playing behind it, while you're watching it, you're like, this is very uncomfortable. Because that girl, Nikki, her agency is like completely gone. Like it was taken from her with this wish. And they have little moments where the real Nikki like snaps back for like 1 second and then she goes back to her like entranced state. But I like how right off the bat, they're like, this wish is a bad thing. And, people think that they're smart. I remember seeing like posts about people being like, Bear is actually a bad guy in this movie because he forced Nikki to like him with this wish. And I'm like, why are we treating this like this is like some kind of a hot take? This is clearly the main thrust of the movie is Bear is taking advantage of her. And like never once was like, obviously Nikki is acting weird because she's been taken control by this wish. But never was I like, oh man, this Nikki chick is crazy. I feel so bad for Bear. I'm like, this is what Bear wanted. I also heard about everybody before the movie, everyone was like, oh my god, the Jenga scene. Oh, just wait till you get to the Jenga scene. Jenga scene's not that crazy. I mean, it's she starts hitting herself with like a broken glass and like making herself bleed. But I thought it was gonna be like a super like I wouldn't even be able to watch because it was like so uncomfortable. Like it was gonna be like some like kind of like body like mutilation kind of thing. But no, there's a part like that later in the car with Sarah. That part was very shocking, and I was like, wow. In terms of horror, there were many moments in this movie that made me feel like uncomfortable or like uneasy, which is a good thing to feel in a horror movie. And I liked how Nikki, she's like as the movie progresses, she gets like wounds on her head and she's bleeding everywhere and she like carves something into her skin. Like she just goes full berserk. But for a lot of it, she just looks like a normal person. But they make her like the way that the shots like are framed and are lit, and the way that Nikki, like the actress moves as Nikki, they make her do some like pretty creepy things. Like they make this like normal looking girl seem super scary when she's like walking backwards, or like you see, like in the background you see like a shadow move and you're like, oh my god, she's been standing there for like the past minute. I didn't even notice. And then later in the movie, when Bear calls the One Wish Willow Company, they set up the dilemma that the only way to break the wish is for the person that made it to die. And so, Bear has to choose between possibly killing himself or leaving Nikki to be stuck forever in this state. And the ending, spoilers for the ending, it ends with, I won't spoil exactly what happens, but a character is left with a mess that, they had it wasn't their fault, but they're just stuck cleaning up this mess that they had nothing to do with, and that like it wasn't their fault. And so it's like a very, darkly ironic ending which I think for a horror movie is great to just like leave the audience with like, dude, fuck, this sucks. Oh, this sucks, dude. And yeah, I get why the movie has had legs, and a lot of discussions on the internet surrounding it. It's I can't wait to see couples dress up as Bear and Nikki for Halloween, even though Bear is essentially a rapist. But we'll let them have their fun. Anyways, last thing I wanted to talk about in this episode. I know we've been through a lot together, but this morning, something came out that I was very happy to see and excited to see. That is the official trailer for Avengers Doomsday coming out, or Avengers Day, coming out December 16th, December 18th. But the official trailer for Avengers Doomsday came out, where we get to see Doctor Doom, finally, like an official footage of Doctor Doom, and not concept art or like a Lego set of him. And we got to see characters in action, fighting each other, all the crossovers you could ever want. I should have waited to talk about the tier from last episode, the tier list and the concept art. I should have waited a few days, then I would have been able to talk about. Now I got to talk about Avengers Doomsday 2 episodes in a row, and I hate doing that. No, but yeah, the movie, I don't have much to say about it. I just thought it was very cool seeing all these characters cross over, seeing the Fantastic Four with Thor. They step out and they're in the new Avengers Tower with the Thunderbolts and the Ant-Man, and I think who else was there was Sam, Ant-Man, and someone else from maybe it was Joaquin, the new Falcon. Seeing Shang-Chi finally again after 5 years of not seeing him. I think about that. I haven't seen Shang-Chi for longer than the last World Cup. He's fighting Gambit, so I don't know how that's gonna play out. So he's in the X-Men universe, and like I said, Doctor Doom is so cool in this, and he has a few lines at the beginning of the trailer, and since I think he's like Eastern European, he's from I think Romania, and so Robert Downey Jr., who's playing Doctor Doom in this movie, he's doing like an accent, and I saw people like, oh my gosh, I could barely recognize RDJ's voice. I couldn't tell that. I saw someone be like, now I have faith in RDJ playing Doctor Doom. He's not just going to be Tony Stark. I was like, I never thought that was going to be the case. Like, I didn't think like it was going to be Doctor Doom and he was going to be like, Jarvis, I'm evil now. Like, I don't know why people expected him to just act like Tony Stark, but in a Doctor Doom helmet. I never thought that he was just going to be like a Tony Stark like variant where he's just like Iron Man, but he wears green instead. So I thought that was great. He stops Stormbreaker, which is with 2 fingers, which is good. It's since Stormbreaker was able to cut through Thanos with all the Infinity Stones, just showing that Doctor Doom is like, I'm stronger than that now. You can't stop me with that. I will say, talking about last episode, I predicted who might die in this movie. After seeing this trailer, not a lot of Bucky showing up. I didn't see any. There was one shot with Bucky, but not really anything else with Bucky in it. Kind of confirms my predictions, makes me a little more confident that he will not last as long as most of the other characters. Magneto also doesn't look like he's in a good state, so possibly he looks so sad and so old. No Beast in this trailer either. I wanted to see Beast. He's one of my favorite X-Men, but it's fine. Maybe we'll see him later. Maybe I don't know if they're gonna. I mean, I do like how being able to like finally see threads from the MCU get followed up on, because there haven't been that many like more than like one movie per character besides like Spider-Man since Endgame. There was one Thor movie, so I like seeing Thor again and like seeing like, oh, he has the rebuilt hammer now, and in the teaser before you saw like his daughter, Shang-Chi, of course, seeing him again, the new Avengers, but that's a more recent one, and Sam and Ant-Man, seeing Ant-Man again and his daughter. I like finally being able to see these characters after last that we saw them, and seeing them, of course, cross over with each other. and less than 5 months. So everybody's gonna do their catching up for Doomsday watch list. They're gonna watch everything. But yeah, I'm excited to see this movie in Infinity Vision. I saw that in the trailer. I'm still not sure what Infinity Vision is. I know it's like, since they can't release the movie in IMAX because Dune Part 3 took all the IMAX theaters. It's coming on the same day. They're releasing theirs in Infinity Vision. Don't know what that means. If it's just a bigger screen like IMAX, yeah, that's fine. But if it's like some weird shit like the Screen X thing, where they stretch the image on the side of the screen, count me out. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Infinity Vision is like they have the movie on all sides of the walls. So they just copy and paste it on the ceiling, on the floor, so like you could look in any direction and the movie would be you could see the movie playing. I will like that. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Avengers Day. And yeah, I'll be seated in the theater. I'll be seated on that fateful day. They're gonna have to kick me out. That's what I'm saying. Anyways, that's all I had to say about Avengers Doomsday, and that's all I have for this episode. Thank you all for listening. Next episode, I'm not sure what I'll talk about. I actually have no idea. I'm working on a retrospective for a show that came out about a year ago. I'm rewatching the show right now just so I can have like a better idea of what I'm talking about, to refresh my memory. I'm taking extensive notes. I'm going to do a full dedicated episode to that show. That might be next episode, possibly. And yeah, soon the next Spider-Man movie is going to come out, so bet your ass that there's going to be an episode about that. And thank you all for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure to check out Kermit Gaming too. I will not hear the end of it if you don't check out Kermit Gaming. But yeah, thank you all for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.